Good evening, children. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening.
How
Okay,
are you,
children.
ma'am?
I am good, Neha. What about you?
I'm fine, ma'am. Good evening,
Good.
ma'am.
Good evening, Chanakya. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you?
I am also good. Harshit, what about you? Harshit, are you there? Neha and Harshit are on the video.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Okay. So last time we have started about the structure of the roots. We have also discussed about the tap root and the fibrous root. And then we have discussed about the type of venation. What do they have? And the shortcuts we have learned to memorize it. TRDFTM. T for taproot, R for reticulate venation, D for dicot, and then F for your fibrous root, P for parallel, and M
Good
for
evening, ma'am.
monocot. Good evening,
Good
Harshit.
evening.
How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
I'm also good. Thank you. Now today we will be starting with the functions of root. The different functions are there for the roots, and then we will be studying about the modification. Right. So these two topics we will be doing in today's class. So I think the major function you are aware, right? What is the major function of the roots? What is the
To
major
hold the
primary?
plant.
Okay, to hold the plant. Correct, Neha. Any other function, Harshit and Trilokya, about the roots?
Ma'am, it absorbs water and nutrients.
Good. It absorbs water and nutrient. Yes, correct.
Holds the plant to the ground.
Come again, Harshit.
It holds the plant to the ground.
Correct. Okay. It will be holding actually the upper part of the body to the ground, right? So these are the most primary functions of the roots. So first major function. So instead of holding, we can use the word anchor. ANCHOR, right? So, see, now as we are growing, we are learning so many different chapters, right? And at the same time, we should also change, the simple words to the complicated words. I think you might be knowing, right, on daily basis, some of the materials we are sending on the different groups, right? The study material is there. How many of you are solving it, trying to solve it? Have you tried solving them or reading them?
Ma'am, I try solving them.
Okay, Trilokya, have you ever read them?
Ma'am, sometimes I do read them.
Okay. So at least, take out some time and read them. And also in the morning time, I'm sharing some of the information, which is like, in the basis of like poster form kind of the information in your normal group, right? So those posters also have some of the, information related to it. And I think in today's poster, I guess it was something about the happiness, if I am not wrong. Let me check. It was about the happiness or something in the English grammar part kind of thing. Yeah, it was about the adjectives for the happiness scale. So, right, like generally, what do we say? I am happy. But instead of that, what you can say, I am blissful, I am euphoric, I am elated, right? So, these, like, I also never use that actually as a teacher, correct? But such words, if you read them, if you understand them, then it will be very, very good for you to get a good job actually. And for your entrance exam, it becomes easy to score the marks because they will be asking such kind of question only, like other name of the happiness, sadness, joy, all those things. So anger, when you feel happy. So all those things will be there. And that is the reason that English posters, science poster, or this grammar poster, we are sharing it on the group. So see how many different words are there for the happiness. Jubilant, content, radiant, joyful, elated, euphoric, blissful, exhilarated, right? So, so many different and tough words are also there. But just what we are doing, we are using the simplest one, which is happy. So we should try changing those ones. Same way, when we talk about the holding is a very simple word, and we can replace that hold word with the word anchor. Okay, so roots anchor the plant firmly to the soil, or we can say the roots will be holding the plant firmly to the soil. And also at the same time, the second thing is they will be giving support to the plant, right? The third thing, they absorb water and the minerals from the soil, right? According to the requirement, they will be taking whenever the water they need, they will be taking it. And depending upon the area where they're present, they will be taking it, right? Like cactus we have discussed. The cactus will have to go, actually the roots will be very deep, right? They have to take the water from the deeper side. So they have to penetrate, they have to roots have to go deep inside. So that is why it depends upon the plant to plant. Third thing, and the very important thing is the binding of the soil. Am I correct or no?
Yes, ma'am.
The
Ma'am, it
roots
prevents
will
soil
be
erosion.
correct. The roots will be binding the soil particles together. So if in case now, if any kind of the the water is flowing with the pressure, so what happened? The upper part of that land or the soil will not get washed away, because who is there to hold them? The particles, because the soil particles are very very close. Like a very simple example I'll give you. We maybe like we are six right now, five are there in the class, right? Now if I hold Trilokya's hand, Trilokya is holding Harshit's hand, Harshit is holding Adya's hand, Adya is holding the Neha's hand. We all together are holding our hands together, right? Now if any kind of the force come, will it break us? Until unless it is not so strong, or until unless it is not the shock kind of thing, we will not be able to lose our hands. Same way, when one soil particle is there, easily we can break them, but when so many lumps, when so many soil particles are attached together, it becomes very complicated. And because of this, the soil erosion will not be occurring. So that is what the major function of the root. So till now you were studying about the holding of the plant, or like absorbing of the water and mineral, but yes, this is also the major functions, that the binding of the soil particles will be there, so that they will not get washed away by the wind or any kind of the water, or by the rain also. And because of that, the soil erosion will be prevented. And the next thing is about the storage, modification actually. What is modification? Modify. Turn on the video, children.
Ma'am, to ma'am, ma'am,
Okay,
adaptation
Harshit,
to its
change.
surroundings.
Yani, adaptation to its surrounding. Okay. Changes, Harshit has said, Neha says
Ma'am,
adaptation.
changes
Adya answered. Okay. Now, see what is happening. I think we all are modifying, right? We all are modifying according to the need. Now, that day, Tailoke, she wanted to go to the temple festival, might be. She was dressing up in a tradition kind of dress. But certainly then, if not to the temple, are you going to wear the tradition dress then? No, right? You will be wearing might be jeans, might be some other, the Western dress and all. Same way with me also. Like normally, if I'm there at the home, I'll be very jaldi. I'll not be, sitting with all those things and all. But when I go out, I will be getting ready, and and then it depends also. Like uh, when I was in Tamil Nadu, I was very, very actually, very, very simple. I like don't open the ears and all those. But when I came back, I changed I changed again myself completely. So modification is something you're changing according to your surrounding. Same way, the plants also what they have done, since like they have started living from so many years. From that time itself, slowly and gradually they have modified themselves into some of the other changes, and these changes are basically helping them to survive. Now maybe you might have seen in your class sometimes what happened, like uh, out of 30 children, might be one child will always be quiet, like they don't talk, maybe he will not or she will not talk, they'll be sitting just quietly. But once you actually, as a talkative girl or as a talkative boy, you go and talk with that person, so will that person will be the same? Maybe one day he will not talk, she will not talk, right? 2 days he or she will not talk. But later on, ultimately, the person who does not ever wanted to talk will start talking. It is because of the surrounding actually. Because in the nearby surrounding, that person is getting so much of loud voice, so much of the people are talking. So that is why he was not able to hold himself and he started talking. So that is why, according to the surrounding, whatever changes are happening, those are called as a modification or like adaptation, also we can say that. Fine. But in the case of the root, what happened? These plants will be actually storing the food, like as in the case of the radish and carrot. So the radish and the carrot, which you basically eat, what they are? They're the root part of it, right? And now that root part, why we are able to eat? Because that is actually the storage part of the food, where whatever the radish plant was there, they have created and we have stored them. The plant has stored them. And that is how we will be taking it from the soil and then we will eat it, right? So modification in the roots will be done because of the storage of the food. And so that is what the actually functions of the root. Now, this modification of root, which is the last point of the function, is very, very important. Now, primary function was holding, primary function was about the absorption of the water and the nutrients, and the major function, I know, that is what the modification of root it is. So these are what modification are what they are the changes which happens in the structure of the root. Fine. So whatever the structure of the root will be there, that will be changing and they will be performing the other function also. So not only the absorption of water and minerals, not only holding, but yes, some other function apart from these two functions, they will be performing it. Fine. The first type of the modification which happen in the root is the storage root. What is storage root?
A root that stores food.
Okay, the root is stored. Can you give me the example?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
carrot,
radish.
turnip.
Correct. Correct. Carrot, radish, turnip. So, and I think you might have heard about the sweet potato also. I think you might be eating also sweet potatoes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
right? So those sweet potatoes are also basically the root which has stored the food. It has got modified to the storage root. Those roots which have basically stored the food in them, and that part what we are eating is the storage root. They are called as like the carrot, turnip, radish, sweet potato. They are what? They are the storage root. Fine. Now, second type of the root are the supporting root. Now, what are supporting roots? Have you ever seen banyan tree?
Support the which support the plant.
Okay. In them, what happen actually? How they will be supporting the plants?
Ma'am, prop roots, breathing roots.
Okay. What are prop roots?
Ma'am, the roots which come out of the tree, like the banyan tree.
Hmm.
They,
Hmm.
I heard of it.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. See, in the case of the supporting roots, they are the major two roots, which are the prop root and the stilt root. Fine, two major roots are there under the supporting roots. One is the prop root, and the second one is a stilt root actually. So, in the case of the prop root, you might have seen banyan tree. In the banyan tree, what happens? Generally, the roots would be down. In them, the roots are also there on the upper part of that. That what do we say, the branches, where the branches will be there, the canopy will be there. So there also the roots will be falling down from that branches of the tree. The roots will be falling down, and those roots are called as prop roots. So what do? They will be just falling down, and ultimately they will be reaching to the ground, and then they will be holding the soil. Understood? So the branches will have the roots. Those roots slowly and gradually they will be growing. And once they reach the ground, they will be growing to the ground, towards the ground that will be holded by the soil. And then ultimately that big tree will be getting the support. Fine. So mostly the trees which are very huge actually, they will be having such kind of the prop roots where they will be hanging. Fine, the roots will be hanging and then they will be giving support to the plant. The second type of the root is the stilt root, which arise obliquely downwards from the stem. You might have seen actually the sugar cane, the stem of the sugar cane. So suppose like so many pieces will have in the sugar cane, right? Some of the time you might have seen in between those pieces, small roots like structure comes out. So those are called as the stilt root. So what do? They will be growing downwards towards the stem and then they will be giving extra support by going down to the soil. Fine. Though the sugarcane plant is not so big. But what happens? They also need support. Now, why do they need support? Why sugarcane plant need support? Why they need support? Think.
Mom, because they
Why
are
sugar?
tall.
Okay, tall. Apart from the tall, what do they have actually?
Mom, they are heavy.
Yes, actually. So since sugarcane are little heavy in structure, so they wanted to stand upright, or they wanted to go slightly stilt. In that case, they cannot do it. Children, just give me just 1 minute. Hmm. So that is what is the sugarcane actually has, a kind of the long kind of the stem and all, and that is why they need support because the sugarcane is little heavy. So for that, from the side of it, from the downward part of it, from the down stem part of it, the roots will be coming out and then they will be touching the ground and they will be getting the extra support from it. So that is how it happens in the case of the supporting roots. Okay. So prop root will be there, still root will be there. The last one is basically the climbing or the clinging root. Have you ever heard that? I think climbing root you might have heard.
Yes, mom. Tendrils.
Tendrils also, okay, fine. Tendrils are the example of it. Whereas the money plant also, that what happened, like money plant, you have the beetle. Beetle is basically is called as pan. I don't know in your language what do you call it as. So there, what happened? They also have, climbing or clinging roots. Generally, we have seen, the roots will be inside under the soil, but in them they will be, some of the roots coming out also, and because of them, they will be able to, stand upright. So they will be going down when they start growing. Again, they will be going down into the soil, and that is how they will be giving support to the other parts of the plant. So that is how the climbing or the clinging roots will work for them. Fine. So any doubt, children? And one more major thing, it's like in Kolkata, there is a Indian botanical garden where the banyan tree actually has 900 prop roots. So it is the oldest banyan tree. So it is there in the Kolkata, which is with the Indian Botanical Garden. So name of the garden is the Indian Botanical Garden, and there one of the tree, which of the banyan tree, has 900 prop roots, and it is the oldest banyan tree. Fine. So this is an important point to note down. So any doubt, children? Do you have?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Shall we start writing now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me share the screen. Is my screen visible, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Last day of the month. I feel like, the month is going on very soon.
Ma'am, even I feel the same.
It's like just now I have started the 1st September and it's like at the end now. And soon, see, sooner you all will be in the grade 7. Soon, very soon, it will be like, okay, going to the functions of root, functions of roots. The first function is, as you all said, is to anchor. So, roots anchor the plant firmly to the soil. So, this is what the first function will be. The second will be, and because of the firmness, they will be giving the support also. Just let me write this point here itself. Firmly to the soil and give support to the plant. This is the first function of it. The second function is they absorb water and minerals from the soil. Then third function, I'm writing it straight here. They bind soil particles. So whatever the soil particles are there, they will be binding them together and prevent them from being blown away by wind or being washed away by rains, by rain, and because of which they will be preventing soil erosion. And the last point is the modification of root. So in some plants, what happens? The roots will get modified. Roots get modified to store food. And once they store food, these roots will be eaten by us. many of these roots are eaten by us. Like example, radish, carrot, turnip, sweet potato. These are the functions of it. So write it down and then we will be going to the next point. The next topic will be going.
Ma'am, can you keep next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this you have done.
No,
Fine.
no, 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 not this.
Okay, children, just 1 minute then. Let her also complete and then we'll go to the next one.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Done, Trilokya, Adya, Harshit?
No, ma'am, no.
Okay.
Fourth point.
Okay, okay, okay.
Done, ma'am.
Okay.
No,
All have done?
no, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do it. So the next topic is, shall we go to the next one now, children?
No, ma'am, 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Modification of roots. So the changes that occur in the structure of roots to perform the other functions. So the main function, like major, like simple function is what? To absorb or to hold it. So other functions, whatever they will be doing, they are referred as the modification of roots. And some of the modifications are storage roots. What happened to you? Who is that? Supporting roots. Then climbing or clinging roots. So write this and then we'll be going to the storage root definition.
Done, mom.
Yeah, that's also completed.
No, ma'am.
Okay, no problem, completed.
Over, ma'am. Ma'am, done. Done, ma'am.
All have done? Trilokia done?
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the first one are the storage roots. So, the roots of many plants, as like we have already discussed the examples like the carrot, turnip, radish, sweet potato are edible. So we can eat them because they are the storage root. So these roots, what do? They will store food in them. And since they store food in them, that is why, you know what they are? They are swollen. You might have seen carrot and radish, they will be not thin, they will be thick. And they are fleshy also. Means we can eat them easily. So note this down.
Ma'am, over.
Okay.
Done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. The next point of this is the food made by the green leaves. What do? They will travel. They travel downwards and is stored. So what happens generally in the leaves, generally in the leaves, the food will be stored. But in them, from the leaves, that food will be traveling down and it reaches to the roots. And that is why they are called as the storage roots. And plants use this food when conditions are not favorable. So when conditions are not favorable, these plants themselves will be using this food. So notice 2 points also.
Ma'am, over.
Okay. All have completed this page.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go for the next one, the last point.
Ma'am, over.
Okay. Others also have done it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Water body. This is a um. This is
What happened, Harshit?
nothing.
Okay. So that's I think 2 points we are still remaining with the prop route, the stilt route, and the climbing route. So in the next class, we'll be discussing them, and also we will be discussing about the stem and the function of the stem and the modification of the stem. So stem also have some of the modification. So children, for you, the vacations have been started.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, from day after tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, from day after tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow is our
Harshit, day
last
after two.
exam.
Okay. Neha, for you, it started
Yes, ma'am.
till when do you have your vacations?
Ma'am, I think it's still 14th October.
Trilokya, for you also till 14th October.
Yes, ma'am.
Harshit, for you also till 14th October.
Yes, ma'am.
And Adya, what about you? Till for you also that till 14th October, the vacations will be.
Ma'am, we don't get holidays, ma'am.
Oh, and at what time do you come back from the school?
Ma'am, 2:40.
2:40. Okay, then no problem. So, children, see, I'll not be available for some days somewhere from 14th onwards. Okay, so maybe once Harshit completes his exam, so maybe 1 or 2 classes I'll take before itself. Okay, so that once I come back, then I'll be continuing. Okay, so I'll be letting you know through the group only that when and when at what time I'll be taking the classes. So be ready for that, okay? And last time when I kept on Wednesday, only I think Harshit was there and others were not there. So don't repeat the same thing. So since I will not be there for some, weeks, that's the reason I'm taking it. So you have to be available for those classes. Fine. And I think it's vacation time, so easily you can.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine, children then. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Have a
children.
nice day.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Neha. Wish you
Bye,
the
ma'am.
same.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Wish you the same, Harshit.